Hey you guys, it's Juan here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. First of all, Happy New Year. This is my first video for the year 2021. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get to it. So for today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my general working experience here in Miami. The only place I won't be mentioning is my first Burger King. I'm gonna have a separate story time about that first Burger King, which I loved, and there was a lot of amazing memories and crazy moments that happened. And I'm gonna have a separate video on that because that has so many tea and it's gonna take way too long. That would So the point is for the most part, like, I really don't like working here in Miami because here it's hard to get a job. And here, if you don't speak English and Spanish, and if you don't have experience, they treat you like trash, which I think it's ridiculous. Like, I get it. Here in Miami, we have a lot of Spanish speaking people, but like, I just can't stand the stubborn Hispanics who had just came from wherever country they come from, and they don't even bother to even learn hello, please, and thank you. It's like, I get it. It's hard to learn a language. Learning a language is not for everybody, but at least do those little efforts, because who knows if the day of tomorrow you can't really afford living here and you have to go somewhere else like Virginia or a different state, and over there they're not gonna speak to you in Spanish. There's a good chance that they're not really gonna speak to you in Spanish. They're gonna speak to you in English, and it's not as normalized to speak Spanish over there like how it is here in South Florida. So, like, I really didn't like my overall experience because, like, I've noticed here, people are just like weird and stuff. Cause like, who is randomly? I remember this when I worked at Fresco y Mas and as a cashier. Fresco y Mas is a supermarket, by the way, for anybody who isn't from Miami. So I remember there was this dude that he just came up to me. He was this old Cuban. It doesn't even surprise me. And he randomly told me, oh, you should cut your hair. And I just looked at him weird. It's like, who are you to tell me if I want to cut my hair or not? If I want to be Rapunzel, I could do it if I want to. But anyway, like, I also didn't like how, I'll never forget that when I used to work at the second Burger King, I remember when it was like my first day and my boss randomly just judged me for my nails, that they were blue or whatnot. And I was like, even though I didn't tell her anything because like she seemed a little fishy. Like, I was like thinking in my head, I was like, who are you to judge me if I have my nails purple and stuff? Like judging me for that is like judging me for having a tattoo. Like, if I want to have a butterfly tattoo on my butt cheeks, I could do it if I really want to. But I really don't want a tattoo of a butterfly on my butt cheek. So I just thought that was ridiculous. But I'll also never forget that there was this other manager when I worked at the second Burger King that I worked at. She was like, oh, who did you vote for? And I was like, I voted Biden 2020. And I just think it's disgusting, y'all. Not only that we got to a point in US history that it's like you're voting profit versus human rights, also because I just think it's ridiculous how most people have lost the decency of having a civil political debate. Because mind you, I'm not one of those liberals who are like, oh, if you do this, I block you. If you voted for this person, I block you. I'm not that type of liberal. Mind you, I respect everybody how they are. And like, if you want to talk to me, fine. If you don't, you don't. But anyway, this was this annoying lady. So she was like, oh, you voted for Biden, then you're a communist. And you're crazy. And you like crazy officials. Blah, 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 blah. And like, I was just being discriminated just because of my own political views. But like, I don't care. It doesn't really get to me. But like, I'm just giving this little story time to you guys. And I don't know, like, I never really had like good luck with any of my bosses. I only had good luck with one boss. But the thing is too, is that also with that one boss, I remember when, and this happened at my first Burger King, that most of my coworkers were getting fired, and I was the last one who stayed in the kitchen, because I ended up being the only night cook. And I remember she even gave me a Visa gift card of $40. She know who she is. Shout out. Indirectly. And then after I worked those two Burger Kings, that happened, the gift card thing, that happened in my first Burger King, which I missed, and there's gonna be a whole different video on that. So then when I worked at Fresco y Mas, I really didn't like working there in that supermarket, because I felt uncomfortable like selling people alcohol and tobacco, because I would be skeptical at times if the ID is real or not, and if the foreign IDs are eligible or not. Like, what I mean by foreign IDs is IDs from like a different country. And I remember when I left, like that, like when I left, then like she was ranting and stuff, and then she wanted me back. And then when I was in Dunkin', I really didn't like that Dunkin' at all. Like, working at Dunkin' was horrible, because like I was the only person who knew English there, which was ridiculous. And I just thought it was ridiculous for the manager to not even know any English. And I was a underpaid manager, and I was basically doing all the documentation, did all the phone calls with the franchise owner and the plumber, and I was treated like garbage. She would complain to me that I was too slow, and she was like, this is fast food, blah 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 blah. And then I felt like she was racist in a way, because when she would see someone who didn't look Hispanic, she would force me to take the register. And then I ended up quitting from Dunkin'. Then it was the day before Valentine's Day, and thank God, because Valentine's Day is usually the worst day that Dunkin' Donuts gets at. It's packed, and in a bunch of restaurants as well. And yeah, like, working in Miami isn't really that amazing, especially if you aren't white privileged, especially if you aren't Cuban, because I felt like I was discriminated a lot because I didn't look like the typical Cuban American, pale, tiny, lightish hair. Like, I'm being raw with you guys. Like, I really did feel like that I was discriminated and judged against the way I look, how my hair was, my nails. Like, there was this other girl when I was in Fresco y Mas that, mind you, I only had like a little piece of like red nail polish on my nails. Like, I only had this like little piece. I didn't even have my full nail painted. And she was helping me like put bagging all the groceries or whatnot. And she was like, "You paint your nails?" It's like, "Yeah, what's the big deal? Like, why do you care? Like, you're not my mom." But anyway, like, it's just bad. Like, I just don't like working in Miami. Like, I can't really stand this conservative, this ignorant conservative hellhole. That's the best way to describe. I have nothing against conservatives, but I just know that Miami and Florida in general is a very conservative state. And like, I don't mind conservatives as long as you respect me and you keep your political views to yourself. Like, you can talk to me. Like, I'm the type of person that's like, you can debate with me like civilly, peacefully, but like once you like disrespect me, that already crosses a line. But like, I honestly can't stand being in this ignorant conservative hellhole anymore. Like, my liberal self belongs more into like a liberal state like California, Colorado, New York, basically the Northeast. And yeah, like, there's nothing really amazing working here in Miami. Like, the wages are low and it's hard to get a job, and you can't really live off of minimum wage here. Like, this isn't Missouri, this isn't Colorado. And the ridiculous part is that we don't have a state income tax, and yet it's still expensive to live here. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And yet, like, some people love pointing fingers, being like, "Oh, LA has a lot of homeless people because of Democrat officials, this, and that." If here in Miami, you go to Overtown or Alapata, which is right by downtown and even a part of downtown Miami, and this is that we have Camilla's house, which is the big homeless shelter right next to downtown Miami. And you guys love to point fingers like, oh, because in LA they have Democrat officials, that they have all this homeless problem, and yet we still have homeless people in the streets here in Miami too. Like even when you drive around Kendall and West Kendall and in other parts of Miami, there's also a couple of homeless people from here and there. And yet, like, I just can't stand at times, like, when some people love pointing fingers like, oh, this state, because it's a Democrat state. It's like, keep in mind that you can't compare a city that has double the population, or maybe almost even triple the population, compared to a city who has less than double or even triple the population. Like, obviously, the more people, obviously that also equals that there's going to be more homeless people. Like, some of y'all just don't make sense. Like, hello, like, do the math. Like, more people, that also includes more homeless people, more rich people, more poor people, more middle class people, and stuff like that. So that's it for my rant. That's it for like everything. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you till next time. Bye, guys.